Let's start the recording first. Okay. Okay. So till now we have discussed about objects. We have discussed about class, how to create a class, how to access that class, and we have discussed a lot of features. Let's start with a short revision of what we have done, starting from objects again, so that if anyone has misunderstood till now, will get a clear thing, or have skipped the class or have not been able to attend, so we will get understanding, because this is one of the most important thing. Today we will discuss about memories, variables inside OOPS, and certain kinds of other concepts. Then tomorrow, most probably, we will come to the nested class thing, and also we will discuss some of the answers that we discussed yesterday. Okay, so I have these submissions of the various people, around 19 submissions there. So we'll discuss that later on. But currently, let's discuss on the class thing. So think so sorry, I went so forward. Okay. We have discussed from here. Yesterday also we started the revision from here. Today also we're gonna do that, but it will be shorter one than yesterday. So if you guys skip the class, please watch the videos online. We discussed the objects in real world with three examples, that is of persons like we are, a person like she is working on in some company. Then we discussed it with the example of a house, an architect, and we discussed with the blueprints of mobile phone, that is being the class, and the mobile phones being mobile phones being the objects. Okay. So considering that, again we discussed that the object has two attributes. One is two things that is, hold on, there's someone waiting. So hold on, just hold for 1 minute. Okay, we will start again. So we discussed about the attributes and behaviors of the objects. We called it. We discussed them that what the behaviors are, and according to that, the attributes are. But then we discussed in the programming world what the attributes are. Attributes are the variables, and methods are the functions that we can call it. Okay. We discussed the Python classes and object. Python is an object-oriented programming language. Everything in Python is finally an object. Okay, whatever we create. And to create that object, what we need a blueprint that we call actually a class. Okay, so objects are a collection of data, means variables. Variables means what? The attributes, and methods, that is functions that acts on those data. Okay, classes are just the blueprints on which various objects can be created. Multiple objects which see the different attributes, means one object having different attribute, and the second object having different attribute, while discussing the init functions, the self thing, and others. And then we discuss the example of a house where an architect builds a blueprint of a house, and according to that, entire colony or the society is developed. So the houses are the objects, and the blueprint by the architect is actually the class. Similarly, we discussed the example of this mobile phone where the blueprint of the mobile phone is the class, and the various mobile phone that the company creates of the same model are the objects from it. We discussed the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and other examples as well also. Then we start coming to this important case of where the how the classes are defined. Classes are defined with the name class, as in the definition of function is defined using def. And then we discuss about the indentations that is important, white spaces like here. uh, and when we create a class, we can call that class with creating an object. Like here the p1 is the object that has a blueprint of my class. Okay, currently is the most simplest one class that we can define, and we are just printing out the p1.x. Okay. Then we started discussing the things more in details. Like here the name of the class is my class, and the indentations are correct, and the x is equal to 5, like the variable is the attribute of the class. Okay. Then we discussed that the attribute is known as variable, and behavior is the method or the functions. Method was a new word, but it is as simple as that. It is what it is, a function. We discuss in the next screen that how everything is defined. Like again, this is the name of class, the x is equal to Saurabh is the attribute of the class, and the definition add, the function add is the method of the class or the function of the class. Okay, and the Python lecture is what it is, the name of the object, and my class is the constructor of the programming language. We will come to the constructor more in details today. Okay, now we discuss on how to check the type of the Python class and what will be the result. It will be the result that it is a class belonging to my class. Okay, we haven't discussed this underscore main underscore main yet, and we might not discuss it today also, because I already told you that this will be discussed after underscore name and underscore. Then we discussed that even integer, all the built-in types are belong to a class finally, like int. This is an int class, and this is an str class. Just because of inverted comma, we discussed by opening it in the built-in function in Visual Studio Code as well, using the control key and clicking on them, and it showed that these all functions are defined inside a class variable, a built-in function in the Python, and that way we defined that in Python everything is an object defined using class. Okay. Next, we started discussing again the more methods, like that how can we call the class. Can we call this function as we used to call earlier? No, we cannot call that because it is inside a class. Then can we do this like my class dot add? We cannot even do that. What is the correct method? The correct method is passing the Python lecture, the object through it, or calling using the object method. We can discuss it into the next two screens. The first is this, where the class is first done, then the which function is it need to call, or which method we should call, need to be called, like here as add, where my cursor is, and passing the object through it, so that it knows that the object is getting called. Another method is that which is the better method, where we will call using the object. First we define the object, and then we call the method, and that way we can call any kind of functions into that. This is a more popular method to call. This is, you should follow more and you will see more. Then we started discussing the init function. I will come straight to the init function. What does init function is? It is a self function, means it need not to be passed. It will automatically pass whenever the class is called. Okay, it's a built-in function. Underscore underscore init underscore underscore is a init function. We also discussed something about self, that how self actually works. Like here, if we call this variable, the output will although we have not called this init function here, what we are calling the Python lecture object and the add function method. We are calling this method, still it is getting called, because it's the basic functionality of init function, that it will always get called whenever we call any other functions into that. So this is the way that we use the init functions. Then we get into the more details of it by using this example. Let me show you the next screen so that we can understand it better. First, understand that we created a class named my mobile, and then we defined an init function, and then we defined a new method, that is mobile function, or method, whatever you can call it method, it will be better. Then we created an object named mobile1, where my cursor is, and another object that is mobile2, and we called the class that is my mobile. So this is correct till now. Now we were passing two parameters. One was the brand company and the brand name, like OnePlus is manufactured by BBK Electronics, iPhone 11 is manufactured by iPhone. Then we called mobile1 and mobile2 to means this the object first and then the method first. As we know, whatever will be in the init function will be called with the mobile class. Okay, so these are the object names. And what is these are the parameters. Like BBK Electronics is the company name, iPhone is the company name, and OnePlus and iPhone 11 are the model name. Okay, calling the class and the method using objects. Okay, so this is where we are calling this. Now what happens is that these four parameters will pass to the self. That's why self is used. These whole parameters will pass to the self. How it will be passed? Because what we will be doing, we will be creating two new variable, that is company and the model, and using this self it will be passed into this. So now self dot company will become when we call the my mobile first time, we will be getting BBK Electronics instead of this, and instead of self dot model we will getting OnePlus. Similarly for the iPhone and iPhone 11. So what will happen when we call these one by one, when the mobile one dot mobile is getting called, these two parameter, these one BK Electronics will be passed here and OnePlus will be passed here, and can automatically, since self being used here in the def mobile, we will see that when self is not also used, what happens today, we will see that when we discuss about the types of method today. So it will automatically pass to the def mobile function. Okay, or the method. So when we call this, what happens is that we can get self dot company will call this BBK Electronics once, and OnePlus as self dot model. And similarly for the second time for mobile 2 dot mobile calling, it will call iPhone and iPhone 11 for self dot company and self dot model respectively, and will print the output. Okay, so the output will be like details are BBK Electronics OnePlus, and details are iPhone 11 iPhone and iPhone 11. Why it is getting twice created? One object we have created for mobile one and calling this thing. Let me annotate it so that you can understand it better. We are creating this object mobile one and calling it here. Because of that, this is getting called, okay, in blue, whatever it is. So since self dot company is here and self dot model is here, and we have defined a self here, so this self dot company will come here and self dot model will come here. Now it doesn't understand what this company is right now and this model is right now. It will understand it will get it from this company, and the model will it will get from this model. Okay, this is what we get. So it will print out like details are and then BBK Electronics and OnePlus. Similarly, if we change the color first, similarly when the second object is created, that is mobile 2, and this mobile 2 is called here, the second object is called, and this since there is a mobile name here, so it will be calling again this function. Now again similarly same things will happen. Instead of this company name and model name, what will happen, this will be called for the company name and this will be called for the iPhone name. So the what will be the printout output will be, it will details are and then iPhone and then iPhone 11, and that's what we get the printed output on the very next screen. Okay, that's what we get the printed output on the screen. Details are, and this colon is of the normal statement in the print, and details are colon here also is the normal one, and these two are coming from self dot company, and this is what self dot model and self dot model. Okay, now let's move to the next screen. Then we've seen another example where we didn't define any method, but still when we print the output, what we get John 36. Why we get John 36? Because once we are what will happen here is this John will be called in for the name, so this name will be passed in here, and this 36 will be called in here, and this age will be passed in here. And since we are printing p1.age, this object is getting called and its one parameter is calling. What one parameter? This name, self.name will be called, so it will be printing John. Similarly self.age will be called, and the p1.age will print out what? It will print out this 36. That's it. We have done this yesterday, so I will move forward again. We discussed about the self and init method also in details. Is just the basic definitions, that how the init function is the constructor in an object oriented concept, very much used. Then self it contains the attributes, and the methods are used to access the attributes and the methods of a class in the Python. Okay, and it's similar to the instructors. We discuss another example where Nikhil parameter was passed here. So what is happening is this Nikhil parameter will pass to the name and will go in here. Okay, and since we are calling this say hi here, so this say hi will be calling you this, and this self, because of this self dot name will come in here and it will contain name Nikhil. Same example is it is, sorry, it's not writing correctly, and this P is just the object. Okay, so that's what it is happening. We have discussed 3 or 4 example. I think everything one should be clear. If anyone has questions, can write in the chat. Okay, now come to the very important topic of today. We discuss these things in very quick succession. If anyone has issue, can let me know. Waiting for your responses. Then we will come to the memory allocations, the variables, the methods, and everything. Is anyone having issues till now? If issues, yes, just type in your issue, that what you didn't understood. Maybe after going home, you tried something and you didn't understood that. Because things are getting pretty messier now. We will get in more details now. And to get in more details, we need to understand in more core basic of how the things are happening in there. No issues? How can we delete attribute in a class? Which attribute you want to delete? Like here in this example, tell me what you want to delete, Aditya. What do you mean by delete the attribute? I want to know. Did John is a parameter attribute that is getting passed. What do you mean by delete the attribute? Actually, I cannot understand your question properly, I must say. There is a method called the it's a shortcut of delete attribute. You can use DELA and then attribute means del from the delete and attributes ATTR, by which you can delete any attributes that is inside the object and the name. Okay, but you mean the attributes are what? This is the attribute. I already told you this is the attribute. If you want to delete any attribute, you can use that function. Yes, that's what I am saying. So if you want to instead of self dot name is equal to name, you want self dot address is equal to address. Okay, if you want to do that, you have to first delete this attribute using del ATR, del ATTR. You have to use this actually, and using this parameter you will delete the one attribute, and then using, we haven't come to the adding attributes and deleting attributes yet, but since you have asked this question, then we'll use the add function to add any attribute that we can also do using the objects as well and using the class as well. So we can use this del attribute function to delete that. Okay, we will come to that, Aditya. Okay, we have not discussed till now how we are just we have just understanding how to access the data right now, that is defined inside a class, fetching that into the objects and other things. We will come to that thing. Obviously we want to delete, like you understand, when we were discussing functions, we discussed pass, we discussed adding variables and other kind of things we did. Now obviously we will do that for the class, but let's first understand what each and everything is, how it is working, what is oops object is. Okay, we will understand these in details, then we will come to that point. Okay, so next let's move to the any other questions if anyone has, otherwise we will move to the memory thing. Sorry, I actually mistakenly said to him to send this to everyone. Means there will be a parenthesis after that, and whatever parameter you want to delete, you will pass in through this round brackets. Now let's come to the memory part. I hope there is no other questions. If it is, please write it down. Otherwise, we will move move to the next thing. Okay, let's move. Now, how does, since currently what we have discussed till now, we have discussed that an object is getting created because of a class. But practically just think for your real life, you're coding on your computer. So how does this object is actually getting created in in Python? Means where is this memory is getting allocated? What is the size of the memory? What it depends on? We need to understand these kind of things. Why we need to understand that? Because the processor capabilities are limited according to the configuration that you have in your computer or your supercomputer or your mobile or wherever you are coding. So it has certain limitations. So we need to understand the memory allocation part as well. Okay, we need to understand that how object is created and how it is stored in certain locations. We need to understand these kind of in-depth details also. We will make it short because I will not explain you exactly the step by step that what happens inside a Python compiler. We are discussing actually compilers right now, but we need to understand that does Python take care of it or not. Okay, so how does an object like we created from a class, and what size of that object is in the memory of your computer, and where is it placed, how Python handles it. I'm just giving a small brief description about it, then we will move towards the variables. Okay, so whatever happens in the Python is in this format. Okay, Python memory allocation chart is like this. There is a Python object allocator always there. This is why, this is because of this Python object allocator. This Python object allocator, actually, the Python automatically assigns a space location in your computer, and it automatically assigns a size according to the things is inside that class. Means object is created from that class, no? So whatever is it integer or it contains a string, it contains built-in functions or whatever it is, Python object allocator automatically does that. So there is a very important word that called as heap. This is this thing that is heap memory. Okay, we call it heap memory. Okay, so whenever you write a program, for that program Python creates a private heap, means a private thing, means it will not contradict with the other memory location. It's not like I have written two Python programs, one in the Jupyter. Means just understand that whatever was written in one cell of the one notebook on Jupyter notebook, and whatever is written on the separate Jupyter notebook, they are from the separate heaps. So the heap is the thing that separates them. This heap is the thing that separates them. And one thing you need to remember only, that Python object allocator, Python has this inbuilt, automatically understands the need of the size, what size of the heap memory you need to use, where it needs to be allocated. You doesn't need to get that data, you doesn't need to understand that, you doesn't need to. That's why we discuss pointers in C++, and others. Here in Python it doesn't matter, because Python is smart enough to do this kind of things. Okay, and then inside the heap these all things happen, which we will not discuss, that what is a general purpose allocator, what is a Python raw memory allocator, and what is a OS memory allocator, how the objects are actually defined in these. We will not go in that details because we are not actually learning electronics also as well, na? So I could explain, but it will be tough. It will be take more than one or two classes I need to be done for that. Okay, so this is what the Python object allocator creates, a heap memory whenever you write a notebook program, and it only contains those data, so that it doesn't handles any other thing, and its size is defined according to the class you define. Correct? Now, what are the things that it should matter actually? Just remember, I'm just written that it Python object allocator automatically actually creates an object, creates a Python virtual machine, and handles the memory needed where it need to be placed in the memory layout. Python does it for you. You doesn't need to worry about that. You doesn't need to go in details of that. Okay, memory management in Python involves private heap. This is all what I said just right now, that it involves private heap containing all Python objects and data structure. The management of this private heap is ensured internally by Python memory manager that we seen on the last screen. Python memory manager has different components which deals with various dynamic storage management aspects like sharing, segmentations, pre-allocation, and caching. Doesn't need to get in these details of the electronics of that, because there will be a lot of electronic terms will be used into that. So I will not go in details of this, but I have written that for your reference, so that in case you need some time, just understand there is a private heap created whenever a new notebook is created, and it is for that notebook only. If you create another one, it will be for another one. If you write another .py code, it will be for that py code as well. Okay. We also, there, like Python, there is another framework, you can say, that is CPython, then JPython. CPython is Python with based on C. Okay. Then JPython is based on JavaScript coding, but using Python as an engine. And then obviously our Python is there always. But we are discussing only this part. We are discussing only this part. This is the most lucrative one, most easiest to learn, and most rapidly rising. These are not going so well right now. So we are discussing this, but I'm just giving the information of this. Now the question arises is, how can we access that memory, and how can we know this? So I'm just telling you a method that where that Python program, whatever you have written, like this object is created here. It is as simple as that. Like I told you, there is a method called pass. You cannot create a class without any body. Like here, the body is just pass. Now we have created this class. It does nothing. Still, on the basis of that, this Python lecture can be created. Okay. Now we want to know where that object is located. We can use this inbuilt function called that ID that we haven't told you till now. Because of that, same ways you can know the ID of any variable. You can know the value of any functions where it was created and defined. We can do that for any other kind of thing. So the output will give something like this. One thing more. What will happen if we rerun this program? Means now, okay, we created another new object and we printed out the ID. We will get this. See, there is a different addresses for them. We got this. You guys understood this, that we have created a class named my class. Then we created object Python lecture, and we wanted to know where it is stored in the memory. So it is giving the ID, means the location of the memory where it is saved. Then we created another object Python lecture 2, and we printed out its ID. You can see the IDs are different, although the both objects are same. That's why I say, since nothing different parameter are passed in both. Let me remove this all. See, everything in this Python lecture is same as Python lecture 2. You can see no arguments are getting passed. Nothing is happening here. Still, this is different and this is different. Though both have different addresses. You can see this. Now, what will happen if I rerun this program? Means rerun the same cell. What will happen? I'm looking for answers. I've written this program in Jupyter Notebook. I ran this. I got these two outputs. Now again I reran this cell, the same cell I reran. What will happen? What add? Where is the add function here? Yes, Aziz. Abhishek also. Address will be different each time you rerun that. You remember, you need to remember one word that we discussed, that Python has a dynamic memory allocator. We written out on the last screen that the address will be different each time we run that program. Okay, every time we will run, the Python will allocate a different memory, a different address, and a different size it may do. Because what happens is that if certainly we change something into this and then reprint it, its size might change. And even if it doesn't change, the Python inbuilt will built-in functions, Python memory manager, what it will do, it will automatically always create new memory space and will delete the last one. Okay, means clear out the last one so it can be used anywhere else again. So that's what it does. So this is how the objects are created and are accessed into the Python. Hold on for a minute. Anyone has issue understanding how memory and the objects are getting accessed? We will discuss some more things into this also, as well. If not, then I will move forward immediately because we doesn't have too much time. Okay, let me move forward again. Okay, other drawing. What if the pass would not be there and we had parameters? Still, it's an object. Rishi, that's again an object. You are asking that instead of pass, there might be something written here. Still, it will have a location. It will have certain memory, na. And this one also has that. Even if suppose like on the previous screens, what we were doing is, let me go back to one of the example that we created. Not this one, this one. See, understand that there are two objects, mobile 1, mobile 2, both have different parameter. You can see these different attributes and parameters that we are passing into this. Okay, both have now different things, both have different dependencies, different outputs, but they will have a different location and maybe a different size as well. Size, we will just be discussing that on what things the size will discuss on the very next screen that was starting. So we will discuss the size as well, but currently understand that this mobile one object and this mobile 2 object will have different addresses, and every time you rerun this program, it will have a new the colors, it will have a new address, and this will vanish, this old will vanish. Okay, let me go to the next screen. We have discussed this. Okay, we'll discuss this. Now next question is, how on what parameter the size of this thing and this thing depends on. Suppose we created an object, what size of that object will be? Maybe 1 MB, 1 KB, 5 KB, or some bytes or some bits, something like that. Obviously memory is what? It's bits, bytes, and subsequent songs, means created from finally bits and bytes, right? So what will be the size of the object? How can we know this, or can we at least, chalo, let's not talk about the how to know this. On what parameter that this size depends? Because understand that it will take that part of your memory, it will take that size of your memory. That program will take, yes, data types correctly. Str, int, float. Okay, it depends on the type. What type? Type means what, Aditya? Like int, str. Okay, these int, str are the variables that we discussed very earlier, right? And who allocates the size to the object? Basically, the size of the object depends on the number of the variable and size of each variable. These two things. Always the size of the object depends on those two things. And who allocates the size of the object is the constructor. Now, what is a constructor? What is a constructor that we seen in the last example? What was the constructor? Sorry, I need to check your chat windows now. First, size we have got, it depends on number of variable and the size of each variable, means whatever variables are what we discussed that. Now we discussed that variable self.name and something others, we discussed that. We will come to the types of variable also, but right now, okay, init constructor is init. We have discussed this actually. Keep guessing. It doesn't matter you are wrong or right. At least when I will tell you the answer, you will remember. It executes when object is created. I'm asking in the program what was constructor. Aditya, I was asking that yes, constructor is where what it gets executed. Sir, it is used to initialize the object. Constructor is a method. I'm not asking definitions. I'm asking in the program what was the constructor. On the last screen you've seen there was a program of pass. What is the constructor in that? Class name, no. Please show the program, sir. Okay. Let me see if I can go back without showing the answer. Okay. This was the program. Let me check the chat. This was the program. Print my class. Python lecture to Rishi is the object. Pass, Amit, no. Pass, no. Yes, the correct answers has come actually, so I will move forward. This my class, this my class was the constructor. This Python lecture was what? It was what? It was the object when we created it on the previous screen. This my class, the name of the class that is being called on the basis of which this entire thing has been created is 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 the uh, is the constructor. So this is the name. You can call that this is the constructor that you always heard. Now there is a constructor, there is a decorator, and every kind of things. Sir, but it was used to initialize the class. Yes, it was used to initialize the class. That's why the entire blueprint. What do you mean by constructor? Constructor does what? It constructs things, right? It does not. It constructs things. Now this mic, on the basis of this my class, this entire object has been constructed. That's why my class is the constructor. On the basis of that built-in function, on the on the basis of that blueprint, this entire Python lecture object is created. That's why that class, that on the basis of which class it was created, is the constructor that construct the object. See, in Python, everything is such so relatable. Like in the day-to-day terms, what do we mean by constructor? A constructor will construct something, and who is constructing the object? The class name is constructing the object. So that's why the class name is constructor here. Certain times it could be something with argument as well. Then what will be? It will be with that argument as well. That's what it is. Got it, Rishi and others? Those who were saying. Some good, Tanishka did, Aditya did, and then Abhishek did. That's great. That's great. You need to understand that this is the blueprint. This is the blueprint. You remember the class name is the blueprint. Blueprint. And on the basis of this blueprint, this object will be created. This object will be created. Correct? So this blueprint will construct on the basis of this blueprint. It will be constructed. So this blueprint name, we are calling it as a constructor. It's as simple as that. I always tell that in writing Python, anything or understanding in Python is like writing a poetry. It's as simple as English language or Hindi language. Not Hindi language. Hindi language is a bit tough than English. So it's just that simple as that. Is anyone has an issue till now understanding these things? If not, then we will move forward. We need to be very quick because we need to complete everything. Then tomorrow the classes we will discuss, because one or two methods also we have discussed, like Aditya's, the delete one, the add one, and others. We'll discuss that also. No, let's move forward. Let's move. Now what will be the output of this? Just to do a quick check, rain check that what we were doing. What will be the output? We have done this already. Yes. Okay. Saurav and 30 will be the output. Correct. No, Diksha, 30 will also be the output. We are printing p1.age as well, na? We are printing age also and name also. Ultimately, this name will be called and this age will be called. See, we are passing the init function directly. That's why it is called. Someone is unmuted.
कहाँ से लाएगा वो? नहीं कि फिर चालू कर देगा, 1-2 मिनट चलाएगा जितना माल हो.
अरे कौन अनम्यूट हो गया भाई? Okay. So it will print out the Saurav and 30 as well. Now what will this print? It will print exactly the Sanishka said, Saurabh that Saurabh. Instead of just understand that one thing we did, we created an object here and created a second object here. Doesn't matter because the name being called every time and this name will be called here, this name will be called in here, and will this will result into the first Saurabh and this will result into the second Saurabh, and the Saurabh will be on the separate lines because this line will execute it for, then this line will execute it. So it will be on line 1 and it will be on line 2 of the. Okay. Clear drawing. These are simple things that we are just revising. Sir, if we wanted the range also, okay, we would have written the p1, we could have written print p1 dot name, then print p1 dot age, then print p2 dot name and p2 dot age, or instead of name you could have written p1 dot age and p2 dot age. It would have printed 30 and 30. Okay. Now what will be the output of this now? Remember, Jyoti is there. Let's be very quick. These are not the very tough thing. And great, Jyoti and Saurabh will be output. It's as simple as that. What we done is we created a variable p1 and created an object p1 and then a p1, p2 another object, and we changed the name. We passed the parameter new name. There was a Saurabh already there, but what we did, we passed the new name to the p1 dot name. So this name will be will go here, and when the p1 name will come, this Jyoti will be printed here. But in the P2 name, since the default argument is Saurabh, so the Saurabh will get printed out. That's as simple as that. So the output will be Jyoti and Saurabh. Okay. And now we will discuss this self in a bit details now. Till now we have understood that why self is being used, how self is being used. Let's discuss that in a bit details. Okay. We are seeing this. There is a what we are doing here is we have created a init function with these two things, self, name and age. Okay, and then we have created a new thing that is self update. Okay, understand update. Now this update is not a built-in function, correct? Why we have created update? To update the age, and what it will update to, it will update to 30 again. Oh, we should have changed that. Actually just understood that it might be instead of 30 it will be 40. Okay, so it will update the age. Okay, now we are creating a variable p1.1 person, p2.person, and then we are calling p1.update. Okay, so this update will be called here, correct? But update has a parameter called self. We have discussed this a lot of time. This self will take what? It will take this self from here, correct? Now it has a parameter called self.age. So because of this self, it will understand that update the self.age from 30 to 40. Actually I have mistakenly written 30, let's say it be 40. So it will print out p1.name and p2.name. That's what we are doing, correct? Now let's understand this. Now self has two parameters. What self has? Self has two objects. Understand that self can take two objects. One is this p1 and this p2. Why self is used? So that self will understand that I have to update this object p1 only. I have to update this object p1 only and have not to touch this p2. That's why self is being used. Currently I'm just printing out the names, so the names will always be Saurabh and Saurabh. But if I would have written p1 dot age and p1 p2 dot age, then the answer will be 40 and 30. Since we have changed this, means do not take this 30, there is no 30 here, there is a 40 here now. Okay. So what we do, we did the updated, then send the 40 is only updated. Because of this cell, it knows that which object's value will be updated, which object's value will not be updated. Suppose there will be n numbers of object, and we need to update a selective ones, like only these three ones. Okay, so with the help of self, we do it easily. That's why self is used. We have discussed self a lot of time, and this is again a clear example of how we are doing the things. Just understand that there was a 14 instead of this 30, and instead of p1 dot name there was age. Okay, and instead of p2 there was actually I just copied and pasted from previous screens, so I forgot to change that. So p1 dot age will give what? It will give the updated value, that is 40, and p2 dot age will give the old value, that is 30. Because of the self, only p1 value is getting updated, not the p2 value is updated. That's what I wanted to show you. That's why self is very important to understand. Okay, next, let's move to the next screen. Just I'm showing this in some. Now let's compare two objects. We have created two objects. We are understanding methods one by one now. Now we haven't, till now we have not added it, removed or anything, but we are trying to understand the methods now. What will be the output of this? I give you 5 minutes to do this and reason out the answer. First of all, Sanskar, why will it print Saurabh 30 and Saurabh 30? Yes. Ajay, you think no output will come? Acha, they are same will come. Should I give it this to you in chat window so that you can try in the notebook? You can just copy and paste it also. Just type in, it will take hardly 1 or 2 minutes. Ajiz, no output, why? Everyone is getting, they are same, except Aziz. So because both are different. Okay, Aziz, hold on. Don't write your answer. Anyone else thinks that they are same will not be printed out? Something else will be printed out? Or as Aziz said that no output will be printed out. Okay, Aziz, parameters are same for both are same. So you say, Arman, that they are same will be printed out, no, man? You're saying that everything is same, so it will print out they are same, correct? Okay, we will check that. Okay, Aziz, your turn. Why it will give no output? Just one word answer is this. A one line answer, no? One word, 3 or 4 words. We have just talked about this. Just talked about this means hardly 20-30 minutes ago we have discussed. No, not self. No, hardly. Think hardly. Ajiz, you can write your answer. Exactly, Abhishek. Memory address is different. Exactly. I think Aziz also had the same answer. It will give you no output. Stupids, you P1 is an object, P2 and is an object. When you are comparing P1 and P2, it will be comparing their addresses. It will not. How can it? We have not passed any parameters yet. See, in P1 did we have anything like this? In P2 did we have anything like this? We are comparing two objects, so the object location is getting compared. The location is getting compared. Okay, we are not comparing two objects attributes. We are not comparing their methods. We are comparing their locations. That's why, since obviously I told you that two objects will never have the same location. They will never. Instead, even if the P1 is same to the P2, no other parameter, no other argument is passed, still P1 will have a different object address, P2 will have a different object address. That's how simply the Python memory management works. Okay, that's why it will give no output. Anyone has rough understanding till now? We just discussed this. So two of you got that. That's very great of you. Now see this. I'm just taking an example of the Jupyter notebook. That's there in my Jupyter notebook. When we do this and print P1, what is getting? It's a person object. It's saying because this person class is here and its address it is returning. Print P1 is returning an address. See, and P2 is returning an address. It is not returning any other thing. So you are comparing this address to this address, and eventually though both are different. Is it 988? It is 888. This is CC, this is CE. It's in hexadecimal format. These are not same, not equal. So there will be no output. Okay, just shown you by the example. Okay, understand that this person class, it forms the person class. This we have already seen. It's an object, it is saying, and its location is the value that is contained by P1, and P2 contains the value of its address, and they both are not same. Okay, let's move quickly to the next screen, because it was comparing the addresses of the. Now can we compare two objects? How will we do that? Okay, let me do that on my own. Let's not ask you to do that. Sorry. So what we will do, we have created a class named person. Okay, it has a name and an age 30. Okay, we have created that. Then we created two objects, that is P1 person and P2 person. Person is what? Person is the class. On the basis of this P1 and P2, two objects are defined. Now what we are writing is that P1 dot compare P2, print they are same. You see this? Now what is this new thing? Can anyone explain this? Okay, let's not get in detail. That's a thing that is very much later on things. So I will discuss this. See, you remember that when we clicked int, means a is equal to 8 and int 8, and when we click control and then clicked on the int, it opened a built-in function that was written somewhere. Okay, but when you will try to click click on this compare, then it will not lead you somewhere because it is not defined. So what we need to do is we need to define this compare here. This what we will do, we'll create a new method or a function that we will call. Okay, compare is not a built-in function, so what we do, we create a new function where we write that what we need to compare it here. So we create, what we do, self and P2. Now you will say, why not P1? Okay, because this P1 will become self and P2 is the value that we need to pass here. Now what we are writing, we are just writing a if else statement. If the self age is equal to P2 dot age, self is what does it mean? It means P1 dot age is equal to P2 dot age. Okay, return true. So it will return true, else it will return false. Now P1 will have what? P1 will have what? Now P1 will have a true statement. So true compares true, then it will print out same. It could have written, directly, or we could have directly printed out the result also. Instead of printing out here, we could have print a statement here as well. Print they are same. They will also print out that they are same. In case suppose P1 has an argument here 30 and here 40, then what it will do? It will false. So again, it will print out no results. We will check that on the next screen. Okay, so they are the same as getting printed out. Got this? This is important. Got this, everyone? Anyone has any issue understanding this? Earlier it was comparing object. Now we created a new function, a new method, this named compare. Now this compare is not okay, Sanskar, I'm explaining it again. Just understand that we have written P1 dot compare P2. Okay, thus compare is not a built-in function. It's not a built-in function. Okay, so definitely we need to create a compare function na. So what we are doing is we are creating compare function here. Okay, now compare function is taking two arguments, that is self and P2. Now understand, just before this statement, compare has P1 before that and P2 before after it. Okay, so it can take P1, it will take P1 as an argument because P1 is getting compared with any other one. We could have a P3 also here, na? We could have P3 also here, and we can do P3 also as a comparison. Sorry, P3 also as a comparison. Instead of P2, we could have a P3. Okay, so what will happen is instead of self, this P1 will be passed. So this line will mean if P1 dot age, sorry, my handwriting is worse and worse on this. This is P1 dot age P and is equal to P2 dot age. It is equivalent to this statement. See, instead of self, the P1 will come automatically. Where it is coming from? It is coming from here. Okay, so if this statement is true, it will return true. So when true is getting passed here, it is correct. So this statement's value is true. Okay, P1 dot compares P2 value is true now because it returned true. Okay, it doesn't enter this as else statement, if a statement return true. So if we can write this statement, this P1 compares P2 as if true equals to, and then print a statement, this print a statement. You remember, whenever the condition is true, it enters into the loop. So it will enter into the loop of print out this, they are same. Got that? Still not? Just to understand that this compare function was not there, so created a compare function. Since before the compare function P1 was there, so self becomes P1 and P2 as it is, it could have been P3, P4, P5, anything, and we could have created P3 here, P4 here, any kind of other things we could have created. So it will compare the age of P1 with P2 and will return true if done. Now if it will return true, so this whole statement is equivalent to true. So instead of this P1, if P1 dot compare P2, it becomes if true. So if true is something, it will enter into the loop and will execute. That's what we do, the conditional checking, that the condition is correct or not, means true or not. That's what we do. Correct? Got this, everyone? This is also important because this is how you're gonna this is a method actually that we are understanding by which we can compare two objects now. Okay, let's move to the next example. Now what we did in this new example, what we did, we updated the, just see this, we updated the age to 40. Now P1 age is 30, but P2 age is 40. We updated it here na? Now we are comparing P1 compare P2, same thing we are doing, and we are printing the results. Since now this statement doesn't hold true, it is not true, it is actually false. So this if true is not here, what it is? If false. Okay, so when the condition is false, what happens? It will enter into the else or will not get any printout. So enter into that and gives us they are different. Okay, just to explain the same thing, we have changed the data now. Okay, so it will print out they are different. Now I want to complete variables at least today. Yes, variables we can complete. What are types of variables in OOPS? Let's come to this point. Everyone got the things that we discussed till now? Anyone wants to explain? Let me explain again. I can explain it again. No? Move forward. Explain it again. Okay. Let me go to the previous example. Okay. There's nothing bad in asking again. Keep asking. Just understand this. Let me go to more back. Okay. What we are trying to do is we have created. Let me do this one. We have created one object P1 and P2. We want to compare these objects, but not their addresses. Like if last time we did P1 is equal to P2, but it compared what? Their addresses. Now we wanted to compare the ages of 1 and 2. So we wanted to compare P1 age with is equal to P2 age or not. Okay. So what we created a new function that is compare, and that we written it like this. Okay, compare is not a function, so we created a compare function. Obviously it doesn't know, computer doesn't know what the compare means. It's not a built-in function. So we created a new function named compare. Okay, now you can see before compare there is a P1 and after that there is a P2. P2 is in this round bracket, so it's an argument. It's an argument that need to be passed. We have seen this now. We passed something like this. So it's an argument. But before that, P1 is there. So P1 is getting compared with P2. So P1 becomes self. First thing is this. P1 becomes self. And the P2 is passed here. If there was any other also like P3, and if we have written instead of this P2, we would have written P3. So what will have written? P3 would have been passed here. Okay. Now what we are doing, self.age. This self.age means P1.age. Okay, and we are just after that as it is that P2.age, it is comparing to P2.age. Okay, now obviously 30 is equal to 30 now. 30 is equal to 30 because we have not passed any argument here. Have we passed any 40 here or any 50 here? We have not passed. We have not changed anything. So both the P1.age and P2.age has a value 30. So 30 is equal to 30. So that's why it returns a true statement. Now remember that what is the function of if statement? If statement's function is to check anything that is that the condition is true or false or not. So instead of this P1 compare P2, what happens is that it becomes if true, because the value of P1 dot compare P2 is true now. So it will enter into this if statement and print out they are same. Got it, Mohit? And same thing when let me go to the same thing. This time what we did, P1 has a age 30. P1 has a age 30, but this time the P2 age is updated, that we were talking on the last screen. We updated the age. So 30 is not equal to 40. So it will not return true, it will return false. So this if this statement will become if false. Okay, false. Okay, so if something is, some condition is false, it will not enter here, it will not go here, it will not go here, it will enter in the else statement and print out they are different. It will print out this. Got it? It will print out different. Got? Anyone still has issue, let me know. If you not, then can also tell me tomorrow. I can explain it again. Okay, now let's come to the type of variables. How many of you think how many types of variables that we have seen, and how many types of variables will be in OOPS? Anyone? Yes, we did int, str, float, and double. But in OOPS, we are actually, those are variables. But I am talking about types of variables. Okay, so how we categorize, means the categories of variables in OOPS I'm talking about. Okay, let me explain this. Let's not diverge onto that. Local and user defined, big concepts, Abhishek and Diksha. Local, static. Okay. There is an instance variable that she is saying, like local variable Diksha is saying, and there is a classic or a static variable inside that. What it means, I will explain that. There are two categories of variable into that. Variables, see what you were saying, like int and str and others, these are variables. Okay, but what type of variable is because of where it is defined in a class. Okay, the type, which variable will be called instance variable is because of where it is defined in the class. Which variable will call the classic or static variable is because where we have defined that variable in the class. Okay, we are talking about the class, means obviously we are talking about the class, because of the class the whole OOPS concept is there. So there are two types of variable. One is an instance variable, other is a classic or a static variable. Okay, what is an instance variable? Let's take my favorite example. Hold on, let's take the example of my favorite car. I love this car, that is BMW Z4. Okay, now what is a BMW Z4? It's a car. So the what is the class of it? It's a car, correct? Now what are the two parameters that we know by the name itself? Is that the company's name is BMW, the model name is Z4, correct? So what we can write is, we can write a class. Here we are writing a class that is def in itself, and self dot company, that is BMW, and self dot model, that is Z4. Is it understood? Everyone understood this? And then we can, what we can do, you can see, let me close this annotators. So BMW has two things, that is BMW and Z4. This car has two attributes. These are two attributes, correct? We have written it here. Now what we do, we can call a new object known as c1.car. So what does c1.car will contain? BMW and Z4. It will contain two attributes, BMW and Z4, because we have passed it as self.company as by default BMW, and self.model as by default Z4. If we have passed a new parameter, it will become that thing. Then we pass c2.car also. c2.car will again be same, BMW and Z4. Next we change the c1.model's value as x5. So we are changing this Z4 to x5, correct? Annotators. We are changing this x5 to this Z4. So what will be the updated value then of C1? It will be BMW and X5. Change the car model. Okay. And but for the C2, what it will be? For C2, it will be BMW and Z4 always, because we have not changed the value. Correct? So to understand this self.company, self.model is actually instance variable. Okay. Is actually instance variable. Everyone understood that? This is instance variable. Question. अच्छा, yes sir. Okay. किसी को नहीं समझ में आया? Anyone didn't understood that? It's as simple. We have defined these variables. We are changing these variables. Correct? We are changing these variables. Okay. So what is this? These are instance variable. Means the type of these type of attributes are what? These are instance variable. Correct? Now what is static or a classic variable that we discussed on the last screen? One thing you should remember is this: instance variable are different from for different object. You can see this now. Let me go to the previous screen. Instance variable is different for different. This C1 object has a BMW and X5 as instance variable, but C2 has a BMW and Z4 as an instance variable. So instance variable can be different for different objects. This is what we learned. One thing, correct? Next thing is, if you change one object variable, it will not affect the other object. This is what we see. We change the value of C1 model. It doesn't affect the C2's value. Correct? It doesn't affect it. Got it? So an instance variable is a one that doesn't affect the value of both the objects if one is changed. We can say this, na? This is what we could understand from this. Correct? Now, what is static variable then? Let's move to that. Okay. Suppose now, how many wheels are in a car? There are 4 wheels. Correct? There are 4 wheels. Every car will have 4 wheels. Suppose it is a BMW function, or a method, or a Ford, or a Toyota, or a Audi, anyone. Audi A3 Corvette will also have a 4 wheels, and irrespective of which car it is, it will be 4. Suppose someday some companies start thinking that no, everyone will make a let's take an example different than wheel. Actually, I created on for the wheel, but let's take a different example that is very recent one. There was actually BS4 engines there in the bikes and every places. Now in the cars as well. Now BS6 is coming. Now the government is forcing every company to implement BS6 engines into their cars and transport vehicle as well. Okay, they are forcing everyone. So earlier every car used to be BS4. Now every car will be BS6, irrespective which car manufacturer it is using. All the parameters could be different, but the company engine, all the engines will be finally based on BS6. Okay, same ways, let's deal with the wheel one. It's easier because wheels are 4. Someday suppose some 5-wheel drive or 6-wheel drive start coming, then things can be different. Okay, so it is as simple as that. This self company and BMW and that model, what it is, it was the instance variable, and this wheel 4 is the classic or the static variable. Just see this. Let me close the chat window once. Now C1.car has 3 parameters, that is BMW, Z4 and wheels are 4. C2 also has BMW, Z4 and 4. Now if we update the wheel parameter, see it is defined outside the init function. Okay, so how will we will do that? See, we have changed the C1 dot model, it turns X5. Then what we do, we print out the C1 companies, C1 model and C1 wheel. What it will be? BMW, X5 and 4. So this 4 never changes. In case we change this value from 4 to 5 somehow, it will be changed for C1 as well and C2 as well. Correct? It will be changed for both of them because it is not defined inside the method. Okay, that's what we call the, let me close the annotator. And for the C2 it is BMW, Z4 and 4. See, this 4 is common every place. So what we call this 4, this wheel as a classic variable. You can see this line. This wheel was what? Classic or static variable. This is what it means. Okay, now what we are doing, this is a static variable, this is an instance variable. Okay, now what will happen now? What will be the output? So let me understand, make me understand this again. This wheel4 is a static variable that is defined outside the method. Defined inside the method is an instance variable that changes with the object. We can change with the object, but this changes with what? It changes with the class. Now you have a question in front of you. What will be the output? Let me open the chat. We have done that already actually. It will be this again. Now we have discussed this. C1 model will be BMW. C1 company will be BMW. C1 model has updated to X5, so it becomes X5. And car wheels, it will always remain static because it's a static variable already for. Then C2 company will be again BMW. C2 model will be again default Z4, and car wheel will again be wheel. One thing that you should notice here, how we are calling the static variable. That's why this screen was. I needed to jump in so that I can show you. You can see this car wheel. There is no company. There is no object reference here. See, there is no object reference here while calling a static variable. There is no object reference. What is car? Car is the class name. So how you reference the object? Okay, that is by class name dot attribute. This screen was because of that. You got this, that how to call this wheel, how to call this wheel. We have always thought in respect of object. Okay, but this C1 object doesn't carry this wheel parameter. It is defined outside that object because it doesn't comes under this self. So to change that, we have to call this class and the parameter that we want to change. Suppose instead of wheel, there will be an engine also, that is VS6. So the car dot engine we have to call. So what we have to do, class name and the attribute. Attribute is what? The static variable. Okay. आज पूरा ऊपर से तो नहीं जा रहा? अगर जा रहा हो तो बताना, मैं 2-3 दिन और पढ़ा दूंगा एक्स्ट्रा. थोड़ा थोड़ा. Everyone is having issue now. I can understand that. These things are now, the things of Python are getting messier now. That's why I'm recording these entire sessions so that you can go through it any time. Just understand that how we used to call call anything inside this. How we used to call. We used to do an object reference, that is like this C1, correct? Then we used to mention inside of this, if init it is inside init, we doesn't need to reference any name here. If it is inside any function, suppose def company, so it will represent company, correct? And then we can change the parameter value any time, so that will be changed here. What we used to do for the whatever is inside the init or in the function, but this wheel is not inside it, so it's a static variable that you have understood already. Now we need to access this. How we will access this? Since we cannot, if we will call this init function or any other method that is written here, it will not include this wheel. So how will we call? We will call this car here and the attribute name here. Same way as we are doing. Initially what we were doing, we were calling the object and the attribute. Now we are calling the class name and the attribute. This is what the difference is. थोड़ा सा समझने की कोशिश करो, और अभी समझाने की कोशिश करेंगे, कल फिर थोड़ा समझाने की कोशिश करेंगे. होप सो हो ही जाएगा किसी के. इन केस फिर भी रहता है तो just get in contact with me. Okay, I will happy to solve you multiple times. Now can we change the value of a static variable? Since you guys have tough understanding, I will tell you. Oh, what's the time? Oh, we are already short. Are you guys ready for another 15 minutes? If anyone has issue, just write that anyone has any other class or something like that. because I want to complete this and I have time today. If anyone has issue, just write down that yes, I have issue, I have something to attain to. Okay, I will consider that it's not. Okay. Okay, this class gonna be long then. So understand that now. Just think this. इतना तो समझ में आ गया ना. This much you have understood. Not this wheel was what? It was a static variable. How to access it? We have to write the name of the class. Name error, sir. Which one is getting name error? This one is getting name error. अरे तुम आने तो दो. Anyone has any issue coming up? Someone is unmuted. Okay, let me come to that. Okay, this was the static variable, and this is what, this is the name of the class name. That's what we are trying to do it here. Correct? See, Aditya, whenever you get a name error na, you must understand that the name might be, you might be using capital letters or some word is missing, something like that is coming. Okay, name error doesn't means that your program is wrong. Name error means the name you have named, means what variable you have named earlier, you are not calling the exact same variable. Uh, like here, if I have written wheel in small and I should call it in small, so name error means that. Okay, let me move forward now. Before understanding how to change the value of a static variable, we will discuss one thing that is called namespace. Okay, namespace is an area where you create and store object variable. Like you remember the objects, the id, the using the id function we get a location. Now namespace is that area where you create and store object. Okay, that same namespace is that area where you create and store object or the variables. Okay, so what namespace could be? Namespace could be of two types, that is class namespace and object or instant namespace. You need to understand this. There are two type of namespace. Obviously there is a class that will be defined someplace and their object and instance will be defined at some other place. Remember when we were calling the id, we were calling the id of what? Of the object. We could have called the id of the variable inside the object, it will have given a different id. We could have called the id of the class itself, it will have given a different id. So class namespace is a different namespace and object or instance namespace is a different namespace. That way namespace is defined into two new things. If you doesn't understand clearly the namespace, it's an in-depth thing, leave it that. Okay, now class namespace, what in the last example of the car, what was the object or instance namespace? The company and the model one was the, what it was? It was the object or the instance namespace. As it was instance variable, so it is an instance namespace, and it varies with the object, so it is calling object namespace. Now what was the wheel? Wheel was the class namespace. So we need to understand how to edit the class namespace. Okay, now we can edit the variable like this. Instead of wheel 4, we can do car.wheel. Again same method, but what it will do, what will be the resultant is very great to see now. Okay, what will be the resultant of this? Earlier what was the value of c1 c2 and what will be the output of this? See, c1 and c2 will have the same BMW Z4, BMW Z4, BMW Z4. We have not touched anything. Now we are saying car.wheel. So what is car.wheel? This is car, this is car. Car.wheel means this is car, correct, and this wheel means this. So it will update this value 4 to 5. This statement will do that. Now we are printing c1 company, c1 model and c car wheel. Earlier what it used to give? It used to give BMW, then Z4, and then what it used to give? 4. Now what it is giving? BMW it is giving as it is coming from here, Z4 is coming as it is from here, but since we updated this value 5, so this 5 will go in here and this 5 will be called here. Same goes will with the C2, C3, C2 values as well. It will give BMW, Z4 and 5. Same ways we can update the variable as well. But understand that there are two types of namespace. There are two types of variable. The instance variable are the instance namescape, and the classic or the static variable are the class namespace. Okay, and there is a different method to call that. That is car wheels. That is using the name of the class name and dot attribute. What is the attribute? Attribute is this wheel. We have given various examples. You need to try this on your own, like defining the static variable outside, and inside we will be defining the instance. Just understand that this is a static variable, so it need to be called via this function name, sorry, class name, and it is an instance variable, so it will be called using a function name. Or if it is inside an init function, obviously init function doesn't require a function name or a method name to be called, so it will be called automatically. ठीक है? इतने में कोई को दिक्कत हो तो बताओ, आज अभी तो कोई सॉल्व करते हैं। हिंदी में समझा दूं एक बार पूरा, ये पूरा एक बार हिंदी में समझा दूं, क्योंकि इसके बाद अपन मेथड्स पढ़ेंगे तो वो कल पढ़ेंगे। ये पूरा हिंदी में समझा दूं, सही रहेगा क्या? नो सर, अंडरस्टूड। एनीवन हैज इशू लेट मी नो, आई कैन एक्सप्लेन इट इन हिंदी, अदरवाइज नहीं तो आज मेथड में निपटा देते हैं। Anyone has issue understanding that how we are calling the classic or the static variable? Yeah, एक काम करते हैं, we let's do this here. वो प्रोग्राम में अभी नेम एरर आ रहा है। अच्छा 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 अच्छा। Static variable can be used independently. Yes, static variable can be used independently. It doesn't affect the instance variable. Okay. ऋषि, ऋषि, क्या नाम? ऋषि नहीं, आदित्य, आदित्य, ये यहाँ पे आउटपुट देखो, we could have called using c1.wheel also and car.wheel also, but always remember it is giving outputs. You can see this. I don't know what you have written on your computer, so I cannot come on there and will solve that name error, name error, name error. I've written this entirely as it is, and it is showing the same result. Here, one thing I want to mention you could have called with the object also, but why I didn't teach that method? Because if you will remember with this method now, you will get confused with the static variable and the instance variable. That's why I didn't even wanted to show you this. Always use this method, always use this method. By this method you will remember that this is an object and it's its parameter, it's its attribute, so it must be an instance variable. Okay, but here we are calling the class name and we are calling this calling a variable, so this wheel must be what? It must be an static variable. Both are correct, but the thing is you need to understand c1 will always, what is c1? C1 will always contain a class, so we can call it by that method, but it is confusing when you will differentiate between the instance variable and the static variable. You will confuse. Both are correct, and Aditya, I'm not getting any errors. See, I'm not getting any errors. I'm not getting any errors. Instead of you, it is there. It is something that you might have written wrong. If it is a name error, it is something with caps lock or something like that, something you have done wrong. Okay, I don't know what name error, why Diksha you are also having name error. It's just in front of you, it's just in front of you. I've written in front. I'm posting this to you. Go put it in your notebooks. Remember to correct this white spaces, these white spaces, if while copying anything goes wrong. Try this. Why are you guys are getting this? And compare your result. Oh, sorry, I have sent it to privately to receive actually. Sorry. Hold on, I will send it to everyone. Try this in your notebooks. Till then, try everyone. Yes, I know that's what I know that they have done something wrong while writing the code. That's why I say that when you write the code, everything need to be there. Like this def need to be just in front of this. The scopes you cannot change. Even if right now also if I type this now, it will give me an error. I cannot do this, but I will not get a name error. Suppose what I do, suppose what I will do, instead of wheel, I will type wheel. I will get a name error, attribute error. That wheel is small and this wheel is capital. I will get an error. Diksha, you didn't got the issue now. You got the issue that where you were mistyping it. It's a mistyping error. Obviously, in programs, Kumar, Saurav, K capital, all in caps, and all in small could be are different variables. If I write Kumar Saurav is equal to 34 and in caps locks, and Kumar Saurav is equal to 32 in small, using underscore without any gap, then Kumar Saurav in caps lock is a different variable, and Kumar Saurav in all in small is a different variable. So that's why you get a name error. Aditya tried. And do anyone who doesn't understood till now, can let me know. You need to why I chose this method to tell you this method to. I didn't ask you to remember this by c1 dot wheel instead of these, sir, I sent on the WhatsApp group. Are did you tried my yeah, is this okay? Here it is. अरे यार आदित्य C1 is equal to car. You have written and line number 7 you are getting the same error. Okay, let me show your WhatsApp actually. Since you have sent it in the group, I will show you that. Yes, car की spelling गलत है. C is capital. This oh my goodness. यहाँ सी के कार की स्पेलिंग में सी कैप्स लॉक और यहाँ छोटा है तुमने लिखा है. That's what the issue is, Aditya. That's why you're getting name error. I told you there must be something like this. Hold on, every programmer does that. Okay, but remember this thing, guys. Do not do this kind of thing. Like instead of car dot wheel, do not use this c1 dot wheel. It will make so jumbled up later on. You will not be able to understand things. Which one was the class variable? Which one was the static variable? Rather use this car, na. It is allowed. It is allowed. You should use this. Okay. So tomorrow we will start with, I think, namespaces we have done. So we'll start with the methods, and inheritance probably we will do. Then after that, we will come to the fun topics. Okay, like modules, pip commands, GitHub, how to make a career, and maybe one of the project in the next week. Okay. So that's it for today. We will start with the methods tomorrow. Okay, I got a lot of responses. Some of the responses are very good, some of the answers are very good. Everyone has almost done correct answers that they did. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, fine. Anyone has any other question can ask right now. I can give more 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Otherwise, let's continue tomorrow. And who has sent me in person and has deleted it? Okay. Okay, no questions. So let's start tomorrow then again. Shall we see you time?